In a world that hums with hurried footsteps and restless dreams, words become lanterns flickering in the corridors of the soul. Time is a silent river, carrying yesterday's whispers into the ocean of forgotten things. While hope stands on the shore like a patient lighthouse, refusing to dim. We are all travelers stitched together by momentum soft as morning dew, others sharp as shattered glass, yet each one shapes the map of who we become. The night often wears a velvet cloak, hiding secrets between its folds, while the moon listens like an old friend who has heard every story but never interrupts. Stars scatter across the sky like spilled silver, reminding us that even chaos can be beautiful when seen from afar. And somewhere beneath that endless canvas, a heart beats louder than fear, daring to believe that tomorrow will bloom kinder than today. Dreams are not fragile things. They are stubborn flames dancing in the wind, refusing to bow to doubt. Even when storms roar like angry oceans, there is a quiet strength rooted deep within, whispering, "Stand." Failure may knock like an uninvited guest, but resilience answers the door with unshaken grace. For every fall writes a lesson, and every scar becomes a signature of survival. Love too speaks in metaphors, sometimes a gentle breeze brushing against weary skin, sometimes a wildfire that consumes every certainty. It paints colors where there were only shadows and composes melodies out of silence. Yet love is also a mirror, reflecting both the beauty we hide and the fears we refuse to name. So walk forward, even when the road feels like a question with no answer. Let your voice rise like dawn, breaking through the stubborn grip of night. Because within you lives a universe vast, untamed, and endlessly unfolding, waiting, not to be understood, but to be lived. And in the quiet corners of existence, where noise dares not enter, the soul begins to speak in a language only silence understands. There, beneath the weight of unspoken thoughts, lies a truth that does not shout, but linger soft as a fading echo, yet firm as the roots of an ancient tree. We often chase meaning as if it were a distant star, forgetting that sometimes it rests gently within the rhythm of our own breath. The wind becomes a storyteller, carrying fragments of forgotten laughter and unfinished goodbyes. It weaves through empty streets and crowded hearts alike, reminding us that nothing truly stays, yet nothing is ever completely lost. Even the shadows we fear are merely proof that somewhere, somehow, light still exists. There are days when the sky feels heavier than it should, as though it borrows the burden of every wandering heart below. On such days, even a single step forward feels like defying gravity itself. Yet courage is not always loud. Sometimes it is the quiet decision to continue, even when the path dissolves into uncertainty. Memories drift like autumn leaves, some golden with warmth, others brittle with regret. They gather in the corners of our minds, whispering stories of who we were and who we tried to be. But we are not bound by them. We are the pen, not just the paper, capable of rewriting the narrative with every choice we dare to make. And somewhere between longing and becoming, we discover that life is not a destination carved in stone, but a melody constantly unfolding. It trembles, rises, breaks, and rebuilds, never perfect, yet always meaningful. So even when your voice shakes like a fragile note in a vast symphony, let it be heard, because the beauty of existence is not found in flawless harmony, but in the courage to sing anyway. Beyond the horizon of certainty, there lies a realm where questions bloom like wildflowers, untamed and endlessly curious. In that space, doubt is not an enemy, but a sculptor, carving depth into the surface of our understanding. We walk through seasons of becoming, where every ending disguises itself as a quiet beginning, waiting to be noticed. The rain does not simply fall, it writes poetry upon the earth, each drop a syllable in a language older than memory. And the soil listens, patient and generous, turning every tear into the promise of new life. There is a peculiar beauty in being unfinished, in knowing that we are still in the process of unfolding like pages not yet written. Perfection is a distant illusion, but growth is a companion that walks beside us, steady and forgiving. Even in moments when the world feels like a maze without an exit, there is a subtle voice within that whispers direction. It does not demand attention. It waits, like dawn behind closed curtains, ready to illuminate when we choose to see. Fear may wrap itself around the heart like winter, cold and unyielding. But even the longest winter cannot silence the arrival of spring. Hope is stubborn in that way. It lingers in the cracks, grows in unlikely places, and refuses to disappear completely. We are made of contradictions, fragile yet resilient, lost yet searching, silent yet filled with unspoken storms. And perhaps that is where our true strength resides, not in certainty, but in the courage to move forward despite it. The journey is not always kind, nor is it always clear, but it is undeniably ours. So gather your scattered pieces like constellations waiting to be named, and wear them not as burdens, but as proof that you have lived, felt, and endured. For in the end, it is not the absence of struggle that defines us, but the way we rise, again and again, like a story that refuses to end. And as the world continues to turn in its quiet persistence, we find ourselves caught between what was and what could be. Time does not ask for permission. It moves like a tireless artist, painting wrinkles on our skin and wisdom in our gaze. Each second slips through our fingers like grains of sand, reminding us that nothing is meant to be held forever, only experienced deeply. There is a strange comfort in impermanence, in knowing that pain will pass just as surely as joy will fade, making room for something new to take its place. The heart learns in ways the mind cannot comprehend, gathering lessons not from logic, but from feeling. It breaks, it heals, it expands like a universe contained within a fragile cage of ribs, and though it trembles, it continues, refusing to surrender to the weight of its own vulnerability. We search for certainty in a world built on change, for stability in a reality that thrives on movement. Yet perhaps the true balance lies not in control, but in surrender, in allowing life to flow through us without resistance. Like a river that does not question its path, we too can learn to trust the unseen turns ahead. There will be moments when everything feels like it is falling apart, when the sky within us darkens without warning. But even then, there is a quiet resilience forming beneath the surface, stitching strength into the fabric of our being. We are not defined by the storms we face, but by the way we stand, in their midst unshaken, in spirit, even when shaken in form. And when the clouds finally part, as they always do, we realize that the light was never gone. It was simply waiting for us to notice it again. So, keep walking, even when your steps feel uncertain, even when the road disappears beneath your feet. Because every step, no matter how small, is a declaration that you are still here, still trying, still becoming. And in that quiet persistence, there is a kind of beauty that no words can fully capture, only feel. And when the final echoes of your journey begin to settle, you may come to realize that life was never meant to be fully understood, only deeply felt. It is not a straight road carved with certainty, but a winding path filled with pauses, and unexpected beauty hidden in ordinary moments. Every tear you have shed has watered something unseen, and every smile you have shared has lit a corner of someone else's darkness. Nothing is ever wasted, not the pain, not the joy, not even the silence that once felt so heavy. For all of it becomes part of a greater story, one that is uniquely yours and irreplaceable in the vast tapestry of existence. There will always be questions without answers and dreams that seem just out of reach, but that does not make them meaningless. Sometimes, the pursuit itself is where the magic lives, the quiet determination to keep going, even when the destination is unclear. You are not here by accident, nor are your struggles without purpose. Every heartbeat carries a reminder that you are still given time, still given chances, still given space to grow into someone stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. So do not rush the process, and do not measure your worth by how quickly you arrive somewhere. Instead, honor the steps you take, the lessons you learn, and the courage it takes to simply continue. Because in the end, it is not about reaching perfection, but about embracing the imperfect, beautiful reality of being alive. Let your story unfold at its own pace, like a sunrise that never hurries, yet always arrives right on time. And when you look back, may you see not just the obstacles you faced, but the strength you discovered within yourself along the way. Because that strength, quiet, persistent, and unyielding is the true essence of who you are. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, and subscribe if you find this content helpful.